once something's important to you, it never leaves your mind. If you always dreamt about being a singer-songwriter and you never did it, you will be haunted by that at the age of 70 because it's still right here, stored in the back of your mind. It's something that's meant for you, that's trying to call to you. You see, your dreams, you either pursue them or they fucking haunt you.
Welcome back to the podcast. I am here with Dale Brubaker. Brubaker, how do you say
Brubaker.
it? Brubaker.
Brubaker.
From the Lancaster Archery Foundation. Now, this is a long-awaited podcast. This podcast I guess it's outside the box of what I normally do, whether it's the Variable Project or the Peak Archery Podcast, because those are often like educational and coaching and equipment and tuning and this tournament and that tournament. The Lancaster Archery Foundation is sort of special, and their role within the archery community is special. And Dale is here, who's the grants coordinator for the Lancaster Archery Foundation, is here to talk to us about the foundation and how your clubs and shops that have archery teams and stuff can get involved with the Lancaster. I should go further in scholarships as well. So Dale, welcome.
Thank you.
You've been with Lancaster for a while in other capacities, but now do you want to just talk about like what your role is, and let's talk about how the foundation got started?
Sure. I had a previous career of 31 years with our county government, writing and managing grants, and I worked part-time for Lancaster Archery Supply. And then last fall I was able to retire from the county and retired, and they had already started the foundation about 2 years prior, and they just absorbed me in as a new hire for a grants coordinator position in the foundation. So I kind of left the county government and rolled right into Lancaster Archery Foundation, and as opposed to being a grantee, now I'm a grantor. So I help clubs get their applications together, make sure they have everything that complies with both our requirements and also the IRS requirements, and then present the information to the board of directors for the foundation. They make the decision as to who they're going to fund and who they need more information from, and so forth.
Okay, perfect. So it's pretty simple. It's cut and dry. I guess the question is let's talk about like who is your audience for the foundation? Who is it that we're trying to reach out to? And let's talk about some of the grants maybe that have been written, like me, some significant impact stuff that, clubs or school programs. I'm not really sure of all of them. You have to be a 501c3, correct?
That is correct. Yep. Per the IRS guidelines, all grantees have to be a 501c3, and they need to provide us with a copy of their IRS determination letter, plus a signed W-9 form. These must accompany the application that is online at our website, lancasterarcheryfoundation.org.
And are there any programs, like let's talk local or in Pennsylvania, that you can recall grants have been issued to?
Sure. The biggest one would have been to Pennsylvania S3DA.
Okay.
We gave them a grant 2 years ago, and they used the funding for, I think, Shooter of the Year. They were originally going to use it for one purpose, and then that didn't work out. So they actually had the clause in their application to maybe use it for Shooter of the Year, and that's what they used the funding for.
Okay, cool. So if there's like say there's something specific they want to do that doesn't happen, and they have like a second or a third choice, they can write that in there, say if this doesn't work out, we'd like to at least use the money or the grant
Correct.
for another purpose. Awesome. And and these grants are
nationwide,
worldwide.
It's going to be nationwide, because we come under the IRS guidelines for a 501c3.
Okay.
It is any organization, club that has a archery team or archery program that they're looking to get funding for equipment, both beginner, intermediate, target backs, or just program to get kids shooting. I mean, we had one grantee that was a camp down outside of Philadelphia, and they worked with inner city kids. They used some of the grant funding to buy some archery equipment so that while the youth are at their camp, then they can introduce them to archery.
And are these grant programs, are they dedicated solely to archery programs, or let's say say a school district recreation commission that is a 501c3 wants to get started, can they also apply for a grant, or is it strictly, or maybe that's something you've never come across, I don't know. But is that something, can any 501c3 do this that wants to implement an archery program, or is it selective only to archery clubs?
No, it's you can submit an application if you're eligible, which would be a 501c3. We
Just
have some
501c3.
501c3. Um, they have to put their intent down of what they want to use the funding for. One of the key points is they do need to have certified archery coaches on staff to can implement and oversee the program.
Okay.
So if it's
Is
a camp
that is that limited to like USA Archery, or is it any NFAA, S3DA, USA,
4-H, yes, and
4-H, anybody?
if it's in a certification program in
Yeah.
archery, they would have to disclose the coach's name and their level of certification, and then they can submit the application with their intent and itemized budget of what they would like to purchase with the funds.
All right. Perfect. So I'm actually looking at the website kind of
Sure.
as we're talking a little bit, and I'm looking at it says the team, we'll call them the varsity squad. Rob Koffold, your president, Carol is on the board. Steve Yoder, Eric Yoder, Jared Weaver, and Emily Samuel. I don't know if I
Correct.
know Emily. Know all the other guys though.
Yep, she's our
So
controller.
okay. Oh, okay. So I guess naturally, and I probably should have led with this, but it's fine. How did the foundation get started? Where did this develop from? Do you have that like backstory by
Sure.
chance?
Sure. I believe it was a kind of a, started with Rob and Carol. They're looking for a way to provide some funding to get people interested, out there shooting, interested in archery, or if you have an established program, to grow the program. Like we have some 4-H teams that submitted applications that needed additional targets. They were running numerous lines of archers, and they felt that they had more targets, they could get the archers shooting more often. So they came up with the idea, created a foundation, and then comprised the board of managers here with Lancaster Archery. So they have a archery knowledge base, and kind of like the rest is history. They formed it, got all the documentation in through the IRS, and are recognized as a nonprofit through the IRS, and then they got funding through the seed funding through the corporation at first, and then they started awarding grants with that funding.
Awesome. I guess you have to also look at Rob and Carol do a lot for archery in general. Lord knows the Lancaster Archery Supply has been a staple within the development of competitive archery. I mean, it says it in their logo, to leader in 3D and target archery and all that stuff. It's like burned into my brain listening to Rob's voice and the voice when I call into customer service. But I guess what's kind of cool is that Lancaster Archery Supply has implemented ways for people to support the foundation without just coming out and making donations. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yes, you can obviously make direct donations, on our website and on our trifold brochure. We have QR codes that you can make a donation. Or if you call in and you want to purchase an item, you can round up your bill. Or if you come into the pro shop, there again, if you want to round up, you can round up to the whole dollar, and then the balance would go to the foundation.
Yeah, awesome. I see it all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
Every time I purchase something online and get it shipped, that option's there. And I think it's awesome. It reminds me of the like the conservation contributions for some other outdoor store suppliers and stuff like that. Now we were talking a little bit earlier, and it wasn't while we were recording. I was just, we talked about the scholarship grant opportunity, and I know it sounds like it's a new thing. Can you go talk about that just a little bit as well?
Sure. The first scholarship program was set up at Texas A&M University. It provides some scholarship funding to a selected eligible student who is a competitive archer on their archery team. And currently we are working with another university to set up a scholarship program with their competitive archery team. I'm working with their representative to make sure the wording is what both we wanted to read and what that university wants to accept and acknowledge.
Okay.
So
So,
once we
so
get
is
that
that
set up,
something that you're going to grow that side of it and work
that
with?
is our tent.
Is that
Yep.
the goal?
Yeah, we want to grow that side. It's just a little more complicated, getting, the wording correct and making sure that, our funding stream for the scholarship is compatible to the university.
Okay. Is there any criteria to that, or can any school potentially reach out and inquire?
If you have a competitive archery program, you could reach out to me through our website,
Okay.
and we can discuss it. Like I said, that is kind of like the growing aspect of the foundation. We have one already established. We're working on number two, and I think once we get number two established, then the board may consider a third one and so forth. We just have to take steps because it's a little more complicated than approving a grant application.
That's that. Yeah, I can definitely see how that can get complicated, but I mean, you guys are once you set that process, you'll have it squared away, and hopefully it's easier after that. I guess it's just across the board, everything the foundation is doing. I think Lord knows that as we have moved forward post COVID, everything, like, money is not readily available for everyone. Getting grants across the board isn't necessarily that easy. A person like yourself who knows them in and out, you definitely being involved in an organization helps. But these clubs that are out there, and that's what it's been to date, except for like maybe the Easton Foundation, who has like their JOAD grants. But this isn't exclusive to USA Archery. This is inclusive of any archery program. I think
Correct.
that's an important part of the growth of the sport with what the foundation is doing. Is it's all encompassing. It's open arms.
Right, right. We've had a lot of interest through the 4-H shooting sports program. They have a competitive archery program. They submitted. Louisiana was a big state. I had reached out to all the state directors for the shooting sports archery specific, and I got a good reply from Kentucky, Louisiana. So they're a growing aspect of the competitive archery program. We've also funded Boy Scout camps. They have merit badge programs. It's not a competitive team,
Yeah.
but it gets kids shooting with good quality equipment so they can earn their merit badge and hopefully take the love of archery to the next level. Like I had mentioned earlier, we have issued grants to S3DA programs, JOED programs, NAS programs, pretty much any type of youth competitive program. We've had a grantee somewhere in the country.
Wow. That's awesome. How many grants have you awarded so far?
So far, we've awarded. Give me a second here. You're looking about 45, and last year alone we did 29 grants at $28,091 total.
Wow.
Total grants that we've awarded in 2021 and 2022 was $44,091.
And much of which the funding comes from probably like the roundups on the website, and you've done some like fundraisers of sorts. Do you want to talk about
Right.
the
Oh, sure.
fundraisers? And
Sure. I had mentioned we do the roundup both online or in person in the pro shop donations. But back in September, we had a challenge match by the Easton Foundation.
Mhm.
If we could raise $100,000 in the month of September, they would match at dollar for dollar. So we were very successful in doing that,
Good.
and happy to say that we got the funds, and now we're planning another funding stream
Oh,
with
that's
the
awesome.
Easton Foundation.
That's great. Yeah, I've participated in that, and I once again I poked a little fun at PJ Riley, but that's easy to do and it's fun, so whatever. Demer's not here for me to make fun of, and PJ's an obvious number two, so
All right.
that's just the way we roll. But anyways, That's good to I'm good. It's good to see that there's those opportunities and that there's the funding streams coming in. It's cool. There's some accountability there to the archery community as well. It's an opportunity or a place where archers can support a foundation that is going to be returning that money back into the archery community. You just can't replace that. Like we own the success of the foundation and the growth of the sport in that regard. We have
Right.
that ability to give back and contribute to that growth. So that's amazing. Is there anything else or like special criteria or anything that you want to talk about or something you really want to hone
Sure.
in on?
Yeah, a couple things too is like I said, the focus is on competitive archery, but we also provide grant funding to camps as long as they're a 501c3. We had a camp that was a grantee that's in upstate Pennsylvania that deals with handicapped children. I mean, very slim chance that they're going to go in competitive archery, but they were given the opportunity to shoot a bow and arrow that they probably never would have gotten if they hadn't gotten grant funding to buy the equipment for the youth.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of the neat aspect of this program. But not only are we, looking at, competitive collegiate archers, but we're also looking at just getting kids who normally may not have the opportunity to shoot a bow and arrow out there on the range and have the time of their life shooting, archery.
Yeah.
But we do, like I said, we look at 4-H, S3DA, NASP. Even like I said, if it's a camp or an organization, it's a 501c3 that has an archery program that they compete or want to grow. Seriously consider looking at our grant applications. It's not a very involved application. Two things that we do need to accompany the application is going to be your IRS determination letter and a W-9. I
Yeah,
would
you
say
mentioned that.
of all the applications I get, that is the 2 points that are the biggest holdup for getting the applications before the board. The IRS determination letter is needed so that it states that the organization is a 501c3. If they don't submit that, we can't take the application to the board, nor if they submit a state sales tax exemption form, we can't accept that. That's just
Right.
IRS guidelines. So
Yeah.
3 parts: the application, itemized budget is very helpful, and then the W-9 and the determination letter.
Perfect. It's simple. Simple and to the point. I will My plan is in addition to us talking about the foundation, I'm actually going to go to the website. And I'm not gonna do it like now because like I told you, I got that thing going on. I'm gonna go to the website and kind of go through a mock application process so people can see
Sure.
it and provide all of those links. Is there are you seeing, and this is just general conversation, are you seeing programs, say outdoor programs that aren't involved in archery, contacting you or reaching out to you, like gun clubs and, maybe places that don't have archery going on at all? Are you starting to see that roll in, or have you yet?
Not a lot. I mean, most of the applications I received or the inquiring of information that I've gotten have been through archery specific organizations,
Right. Yeah.
whether it's a NASP team, JOAD team, S3DA team. Unfortunately, a lot of the gun clubs, aren't 501c3s. They're
Yeah,
going to be
that's changing. There's definitely a little, I know in our area, like there's I guess USA, I don't know what it's like USA Archery, but the clay pigeon side of that,
okay.
that's growing. And there's like a local team. I'll give you an example right here where I live. They're forming I'm actually helping them. They're forming a nonprofit right now for their clay pigeon team and for their club. And they're growing that way. They're going toward that way because I think the NRA has some grants and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and some other organizations, the National Elk Foundation or whatever, some of those, some of those organizations for shooting teams. And I was curious if Lancaster Archery Foundation has seen that yet. I suspect that as it grows and the knowledge about the foundation grows, you will. And I hope that if people that listen to this are part of that type of a club, or go get your nonprofit. It's not that difficult to do. It's a little bit of a time suck dealing with the state, but it's doable. Maybe I should do a podcast as a follow-up to this to help people figure out how to do a nonprofit filing, because it's not that bad. But anything else you want to talk about?
No, those were the three big points.
The hot points.
Yeah, like I said, I have, I think, 4 applications on hold right now. I'm just waiting for their determination letter and W-9s. That seems to
Awesome.
be the big holdup. The other thing too is if you are looking to start a program, or you have one now, we do like to see coaches that are certified at the sanctioning body, whether it's USA Archery, 4-H, JOAD, or wherever they can get certifications. The more the better, because we like to make sure that those that are overseeing the program, are skilled in archery, both safety and shooting, and everybody can have a good time then.
Yep. Awesome. Like I said, I'm gonna follow up with kind of a recorded application process and go through that. Put it in with this episode. And then I'll let you guys know when it's ready. But I mean, that's it. We covered it. It was super short. I'm good with it. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah. The only
People
other
like
thing too
short and
is,
sweet.
if anybody has questions, email me, because right to my inbox.
It'll be in the show notes. I'll put
Yep.
your email in the show notes.
And then I like to work with people to, make sure that they're in compliance so they can get the application in. And if I don't know the answer, I can find someone who does.
I'm sure you can. Are you gonna have like a table or a booth set up at the classic?
Yep, we're gonna have our display at the classic. We're gonna be back at the ATA show, and
Oh,
I
nice.
maybe on the road this summer a couple times with the Cam trailer and the LA Express, at S3DA shoots and Joad shoots and so forth.
Oh, no, that's awesome, man. I
So
think that's great. The foundation, I'm not saying it has to be your face, but the foundation definitely needs to have a face.
yeah,
For somebody that can be like that point of contact, for sure. I'm glad that you're putting yourself out there. 100% necessary. I think the more you put yourselves out there, the more clubs and prospective archery organizations will hear about it. And that's where we're at. I know it's still relatively baby stages, I guess, in retrospect, but we need to get that word out there because it's important to archery, and I appreciate the work that you're doing.
sure. Yep. I mean, from 2021 to 22, we grew 81%, and I'd like to double that for into 23.
Heck
I just
yeah.
want to keep driving this foundation bigger and better.
I love it. Good job, man. Excellent
Thank you.
work. It is a small piece of this community that has been missing, and you guys are definitely, I shouldn't say missing. There's some others out there doing it, but not quite to this scale, and it's really filling a necessary void in the growth of archery. So, and I recognize that. That's why you're on this podcast, and I appreciate all that you're doing, and Rob and Carol and everybody else as well.
And thank you. And like I said again, any questions, shoot me an email. I will get you the answer, or help you every way I can.
Perfect. I will put it out there. Thanks so much for joining the Bearable Project, and I'm putting it on the Peak Archery also. Just whatever exposure we can get, I'm putting it out there.
Thank you.
And we'll see you. I'll be sure to seek you out at the classic. That's probably
I'll be looking for you.
All right, man.
All right,
Thank
you
you
take
so
care.
much. You as well.
Thanks.